James Cameron's movie Titanic won 11 Academy Awards and gave millions of people a glimpse into what happened on the great ship's doomed maiden voyage.
Here we tell the stories of
now, 100 years after its sinking, this exhibit gives visitors a chance to get an up-close look at artifacts from the Titanic and get to know about the people who experienced one of the deadliest cruise ship disasters in history.
We have over 160 of these artifacts here, and to see these objects with your own two eyes and to hear the stories of the lives they represent really offers a haunting emotional connection to the story of Titanic that few things can.
Hello, welcome aboard. I'm Captain Edward John Smith.
Upon entering the exhibit, you're greeted by the captain, who hands you a boarding pass with the name of an actual passenger.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
On her maiden voyage, the HMS Titanic carried 2,228 passengers and crew. It was the largest and most luxurious ship of its time. Throughout the exhibit, you can see how divided the class system was during that era.
Now this looks like a swanky hotel room.
So this is an example of one of the first-class staterooms on Titanic, and the White Star Line really spared no expense. They wanted to make sure that their first-class passengers had all the amenities that they would have at a five-star hotel on land.
And this wasn't even the largest room?
That's right. This is an example of a pretty standard stateroom. There would have been more luxurious and grander rooms than this even.
Quite different from the third-class cabin. So it says here that each cabin had its own chamber pot just in case a passenger got seasick. These things look brand new.
That's right. So at the bottom of the ocean, ceramic and porcelain wear very well to the elements, whereas some of the other objects that we see in the exhibition, they have a harder time at the bottom of the ocean in that environment.
From dishes to chandeliers to personal items like these pearls, each piece makes the human toll hit home. One thing you won't see is the blue diamond necklace featured prominently in the film Titanic.
Is it a diamond? Yes.
Unfortunately, the heart of the ocean was not on board Titanic, but some people believe he used a necklace versus a ring or another piece of jewelry because one of the very wealthy first-class passengers on Titanic had a necklace that was insured as one of the most expensive necklaces in the world. It hasn't been recovered, but it's believed that that kind of played into his idea of using a necklace.
Bill Edwards, the man responsible for bringing this exhibit to the Mahaffey Theater, is amazed by what's been recovered from the bottom of the ocean.
The unsinkable ship sank, and we've got the artifacts from it that, you know, are the real deal. They're the stuff that still remains after 100 years. It's amazing how many things are been recovered that are in good shape.
The journey was supposed to take 7 days. 4 days into the voyage, at 11:40 p.m., the Titanic hit an iceberg just 375 miles south of Newfoundland. The ship did not have enough lifeboats to hold everyone, and the crew wasn't properly trained to deal with an emergency. The ship gradually filled with water and sank around 2:20 a.m.
It is freezing in this room.
Probably has something to do with this iceberg that we're standing next to. This is kind of an interactive component of the exhibition, and we encourage people to press their hands against it to feel approximately how cold the water would have been on the night of the sinking. So that's freezing. What's hard to imagine is the water would have been 4 degrees colder than that.
That is extremely cold. I can't imagine what those people went through. That is terrifying.
Most people didn't die from drowning, but from hypothermia. In all, only 705 people were saved. 1,523 were lost. The wreck of the Titanic remains on the seabed, split in two at a depth of 12,415 feet.
We're at the end of the exhibit. This is where I learned my fate. My name is Mrs. Bess Allison. I'm a first-class passenger, so I'm thinking I survived the Titanic.
Unfortunately, you perished in the sinking, and you have a very heartbreaking story. You were traveling with your husband and your 2 children, a daughter who was 3 and a son who was just an infant, and their nurse. And the nurse took the baby off the ship, and you and your husband had no idea, so you stayed looking for him with your 3-year-old daughter until it was too late. So you all perished, but your infant son survived.
Hold me. That's awful. Great exhibit, though.